I notice the moment I step into my parents' house that something feels different. The air carries a strange tension, like the quiet before a storm. Mom greets me with a smile stretched a little too wide as she takes my coat, while Dad's handshake feels overly firm. My sister Autumn is almost buzzing with excitement, her eyes darting toward our parents with that familiar look I've recognized since we were children. "Sierra, honey, so glad you made it," Mom says warmly, guiding me toward the dining room, with unusual insistence. The table is set perfectly, Mom's best china, crystal glasses reserved for special occasions, and a centerpiece of fresh flowers. Clearly, whatever this is, it has been carefully planned. I take my usual seat across from Autumn, her smile reminding me of the mischievous grin she had as a child when I was about to sit on her hidden prank. Dad begins carving the roast with practiced ease while Mom serves potatoes, beans, and the rolls I've always loved. Then I notice it. A manila folder tucked discreetly beside Dad's plate. My stomach tightens. "How's the clinic?" Mom asks in an overly cheerful tone. "Still working those long hours?" "Business is good," I answer simply, noticing Dad's glance toward the folder. "We've increased patient numbers by 20% this quarter." Autumn smirks. "All those patients, but still such a tiny waiting room. Someone should upgrade your office setup." The pieces come together in my mind, a realization I wish I didn't have. Dad clears his throat, setting his fork down firmly against the china. "Sierra, we've been thinking about the future of your clinic." I pause mid-bite, the food suddenly tasteless. Mom jumps in smoothly as if rehearsed. "Family businesses need family leadership, dear." "It's not a family business," I reply carefully. "I built it myself." "With our support," Dad counters, reaching for the folder. "And now Autumn has a proposal that could help everyone." Autumn straightens proudly. "I've prepared a plan to become your practice manager. I'd handle all the paperwork so you could focus on patients." She leans forward, eyes bright. "I'd just take a 25% profit share, which is very reasonable considering the growth I'll bring." My heartbeat quickens. This isn't a casual dinner, it's a setup. Old memories rush back. Long shifts in the hospital cafeteria during physical therapy school, sending money home to help Autumn with her freshman year, while I lived off instant noodles in a one-room apartment with secondhand furniture. Sleepless nights after long clinical rotations, the $187,000 in student loans I still carry. "I already have a clinic manager," I respond, steadying my voice. Mom waves dismissively. "But Autumn is the people person. Remember how she impressed Dr. Wilson at your clinic opening? He barely noticed you." I remember. Just like I remember Dad brushing aside my academic honors while proudly photographing Autumn in my graduation. Cap and gown. I remember her summer at the front desk that led to unauthorized discounts for her sorority friends, and the scheduling errors that left patients waiting or turned away. "May I see what you've prepared?" I ask, nodding toward the folder. Dad slides it across with a satisfied smile. "It's already drafted by my attorney. It only needs your signature." "I can start tomorrow," Autumn adds eagerly. "I already have ideas for redecorating." I take a slow sip of water, setting the glass carefully on its coaster. Then I reach for my briefcase beside the chair. "Before we continue," I say calmly, "there's something you should see." The room falls silent as I unlock the briefcase. Dad's confident smile falters when I bring out a leather portfolio. The one I bought after landing my contract with Denver Sports Medicine, a reminder of what I've built without their involvement. "What's this?" Dad asks, his voice carrying a trace of unease. Mom glances nervously between him and Autumn. Her fingers twist her napkin, while Autumn's smile begins to fade. I spread my documents on the table with deliberate care. 3 weeks ago, I signed a management services agreement with Colorado Healthcare Partners. I tap the page where their logo appears. They're handling all administrative operations of Healing Hands from now on. Dad reaches for the papers, frowning. You can't make decisions like this without consulting family. Actually, I can. I slide another document toward him. I've highlighted section 4.3. It states that no family members may be employed in management roles without unanimous board approval. The board is made up of myself and 2 partners from CHP. Autumn's face reddens, her voice tight with anger. You did this on purpose. I made a business choice. Holding steady eye contact with my sister, I refuse to look away first. From my portfolio, I take out a folder filled with patient complaints, all carefully dated and organized. These are from last summer, when you worked at the clinic. I don't need to open it. The thickness speaks for itself. 15 scheduling mistakes that double-booked treatment rooms. 23 unauthorized discounts, 8 of which went to your sorority friends. 31 billing errors that nearly triggered an insurance audit. Mom reaches across the table, her hand stopping just before mine. Sierra, honey, everyone makes mistakes when they're learning. These weren't learning mistakes. I rise slowly, realizing how much stronger I feel standing over my seated family. These were careless errors made by someone who thought the rules didn't apply to her. I pull out another document, this one from my accountant. It lists the $42,000 worth of free treatments given to this family over the past 3 years. Dad's rotator cuff therapy, Mom's plantar fasciitis treatments, Autumn's sports massages before her beach vacations. The silence feels like victory. Their expressions shift from entitled confidence to uneasy shock. While I covered your medical needs, I was living on instant noodles to pay student loans. I worked extra shifts in the hospital cafeteria to help fund Autumn's freshman year. When you said you couldn't afford both our educations, I locked eyes with Dad. I slept on treatment tables when rent and malpractice insurance became impossible to cover. My phone buzzes with a message from my clinic manager. Did you tell them? Yet? The timing couldn't be better, a reminder that I'm not standing alone anymore. My staff saw Autumn's summer of mistakes, staying late to fix her errors while she posted rooftop party photos online. They know the reality behind the Bennett family dynamic. My mentor once warned me, family and business don't mix. I remember Dr. Winter's worried look when she found me crying in the supply closet after Dad skipped my clinic's opening. I should have listened earlier. I carefully placed the papers back in order, the methodical act calming me the same way organizing supplies steadies me before treating a difficult patient. We can negotiate, Dad says, his voice losing its usual authority, sounding more like a man watching a business deal slip away. 20% instead of 25%. A trial period. I snap my portfolio shut. My clinic isn't your bank. It's my career. Mom clutches her throat, a practiced gesture perfected through years of family drama. I never thought you'd put business before family, she whispers. Her words reveal the problem clearly. To them, my success exists for their benefit. My clinic is not my accomplishment, but their opportunity. I'm not putting business before family, I answer, my voice calmer than I feel. I'm putting boundaries before exploitation. Autumn pushes back from the table, her chair scraping the floor. You've always been dramatic, Sierra. Acting like you did everything yourself when we've always supported you. Supported me? I raise an eyebrow. When exactly? Was it at graduation? When Dad took photos of you wearing my cap and gown? Or when Mom introduced me to Dr. Wilson as just the medical person at my own clinic opening? Memories rush up, sharp and unstoppable. My 12th birthday, when I got a card while Autumn received a brand new bicycle. My valedictorian ceremony, where no one showed up because Autumn had a cold. I zip my briefcase. Your support has always been absent when it mattered. Dad stands too, but his height no longer carries the power it once did. You've changed, Sierra. Success has made you cold. No, I say, meeting his gaze without hesitation. Success has made me visible, and you don't know how to handle a daughter you can't ignore. I lift my briefcase, lighter than I expected, lighter than the weight I've carried for years. For the first time since arriving, I take a full breath that doesn't hurt. I'll see myself out. At the door, I pause. Oh, and starting next month, family treatments will be billed at standard rates. Our charity program is for patients who truly can't afford care, not for those who simply don't want to pay. Behind me, I hear Mom's shocked gasp, Dad's muttered curse, and Autumn's staged sobs. But for once, their reactions no longer pull me back into old patterns of appeasement. I step outside into the evening air as my phone buzzes again. My clinic manager's message reads, "We're all here for you." And for the first time in my life, I believe it. That night, memories surface. My 12th birthday, a Tuesday in April. Ordinary except for the math test I aced and the single card waiting by my cereal bowl. 2 weeks later, Autumn turned 10 and was gifted a gleaming teal bicycle with streamers and a basket. I stood on the porch watching her ride circles in the driveway while our parents clapped. "Sierra, take a picture of your sister," Dad called, tossing me the camera. "This is a milestone." I adjust the viewfinder to frame Autumn's glowing smile, her hair lit by the sun as Dad steadies her bike seat. Mom waves her handkerchief like she's bidding farewell to royalty. "Remember when I got my first bike?" I ask later, rinsing dishes beside Mom while crumbs from the birthday cake still scatter the table. She pauses, sponge frozen midair. "You were a practical child, Sierra. You always asked for books instead." But that wasn't true. I had circled bikes in catalogs for 3 years. High school graduation brings honors, valedictorian, science medal, a full scholarship to Colorado State. The auditorium buzzes with parents clutching flowers and cameras. Mine arrived 7 minutes after my speech, sliding into the back row as I return to my seat. "Traffic was awful," Mom whispers afterward, empty-handed. "But we'll be at Autumn's recital tonight. You're coming, right?" The pattern repeats in college. Dean's list certificates arrive at our house while I work double shifts in the hospital cafeteria. The envelopes sit unopened on the kitchen counter. At physical therapy school graduation, I stand alone until Autumn spots me from across the quad. "There you are." She snatches my mortarboard. "Dad wants pictures of me in this. You don't mind, right?" For 20 minutes, I watch them photograph her in my cap, their backs to my cords and diploma. Book smarts don't build practices. "Sierra," Dad remarks later, handing back my cap without looking at me. 4 years later, I hunch over my laptop past midnight, the clinic dark except for my office lamp. Loan statements flash, $187,000 left, monthly payments higher than my rent. Meanwhile, I've just sent Autumn $1,200 for temporary housing after her 4th job change in 2 years. My own apartment is furnished with roadside finds, a wobbling coffee table, a secondhand sofa that never loses its smell. Hunger echoes in the quiet clinic. That morning, the bank manager's words lingered. "Without a cosigner or collateral, Miss Bennett, we can't approve the expansion loan." I had nodded, slipping the rejection letter into my bag beside the others. My parents had refused to co-sign, yet bought Autumn a new car last month so she'd have reliable transportation for interviews. That night, I sleep on the treatment table, wrapped in a thin patient blanket after 16 hours of back-to-back appointments and paperwork. The cleaning crew finds me at 5 a.m., still holding spreadsheets. 6 months later, when Healing Hands physical therapy finally opens in its own space, my parents stop by for 15 minutes between Autumn's bridal shower and dinner plans. "It's nice," Mom says, glancing at her watch, "like a real doctor's office." Dad studies my credentials. Just remember, it's about people, not degrees. They leave before the small reception begins, missing the champagne toast and ribbon-cutting photo. The summer-autumn helps at the front desk turns into disaster. Her sorority friends get unauthorized discounts, regular patients see appointments canceled, insurance forms pile up in drawers. They were boring. Autumn shrugs when I confront her. Besides, they're just old people with Medicare. They've got nowhere important to be. For weeks afterward, I make personal calls to every patient, restoring trust, one apology at a time. The turning point comes during a meeting with Blue Shield's regional rep. She frowns. Your documentation doesn't meet standards. I slide a folder across her desk. These revised protocols align with your latest guidelines. Each treatment code is cross-referenced. Her brows lift. You did this yourself? Every night for 3 weeks. Her verdict is blunt. Most providers just argue or give up. 3 days later, Blue Shield approves our entire claims backlog. Word spreads, referrals rise, and after 2 years, the clinic finally turns a profit. Late one night, I stare at the accounting software, checking the numbers 3 times before believing them. No one celebrates with me, but the silence feels like strength, not neglect. I realize my invisibility is my power. While my family admired Autumn's charm, I built something lasting in the background. Self-reliance, persistence, precision. These skills now fuel my business. Ellie Morgan, my clinic manager, proves it when she rejects a higher-paying hospital. Job to stay. They don't value people like you do, she says, tearing up the offer letter. I've worked in healthcare for 30 years, Sierra. What you're building is rare. When Autumn's mistakes create chaos, my staff stays late without complaint, ordering pizza and clearing the backlog. We've got this, says Carlos, my lead therapist. She may be your sister, but we're your team. Every Friday, staff meetings begin with each person sharing challenges and victories. Every voice counts, from therapists to cleaning crew. A sharp contrast to family dinners, where my words were often ignored. One ordinary Tuesday, the medical director from Denver Rehabilitation Center calls. We've been following your outcomes data. To me, 2,000 patients. Our orthopedic department proposed a partnership for a specialized treatment program. That evening, we gathered at the clinic after hours, not for emergencies, but to celebrate. 9 of us now, instead of the original 3, raising plastic cups and sharing a simple store-bought cake. Ellie called out a toast to Sierra, who recognized opportunities when others only saw obstacles. Later, when the clinic was quiet again, I carefully removed my first business license from its frame, running my fingers across the embossed seal. Tomorrow, I'll rehang it in the expanded reception area. It's a reminder that being overlooked often allows you to quietly build foundations others never believed would last. 6 weeks after the confrontation, I sit in my corner office at work. The window offers a wide view of Denver's skyline, but I keep my desk facing the treatment floor. Through the glass wall, I watch Meredith guide Mrs. Hoffman through her post-stroke therapy. Meredith's patience reflects the kind of care I strive to bring every patient, something my own family never understood about healing. The difference between my modest office and our advanced treatment areas is intentional. Patients deserve state-of-the-art equipment, while I manage just fine with a second-hand desk and a simple chair. Every dollar saved is reinvested where it truly matters. I straighten the original Healing Hands therapy sign mounted on my wall, rescued last month when we expanded from 3 rooms to 15. From me alone to a team of 15 therapists who share the same patient-first vision. My phone vibrates for the 3rd time today. Mom again. I silence it without reading the message. It will be the same as before. Checking in, honey, followed by veiled questions about clinic operations or reminders about the season's unemployment statistics. The calls grew more frequent after I declined 6 dinner invitations in a row. Mom. Shifts between guilt, we never see you anymore, and false interest in business. Last week, Dad even tried contacting my accountant directly, but my warning call had prepared her. Their most desperate attempt came yesterday, when Autumn arrived unannounced during our busiest afternoon, holding a folder of brilliant marketing ideas that required her full-time employment to execute. Mark, our front desk manager, followed protocol, offering her a seat in the waiting room and alerting me immediately. I didn't interrupt my patient session. That afternoon, sunlight warmed my face as I opened my laptop, staring at an email I had written, deleted, and rewritten 14 times. Clear, measured, and necessary. To my family, as I've said before, I am setting professional boundaries regarding healing hands therapy. The clinic will not employ family members or accept management input from them. All treatment will be billed at standard rates. Business discussions will remain with my leadership team. I am open, however, to rebuilding our personal relationships separately from professional matters. My finger hovered over send when Carol, our clinic manager, walked in with 2 mugs of coffee. "Thought you might need this," she said, placing one beside my laptop. Then she slid her phone across the desk. On the screen was my mother's Facebook profile, featuring a photo from our clinic's opening day 3 years ago. She stood beside me, arm around my shoulder, a moment I once thought genuine but now see as performative. Her caption read, "So proud of my daughter Sierra's vision with healing hands therapy. We've always believed in her healing touch. Proud." Mama, family business. The post had gone live just 20 minutes earlier. The hashtag is interesting, Carol said carefully. Family business. The words sat bitter in my mouth. I pressed send on my email. They've never contributed $1, never worked an hour here, never believed this clinic would succeed until it did. The community is starting to notice, Carol added. Dr. Reynolds mentioned it last week when he referred that complex shoulder case. He said he trusts this clinic because you built something real, not inherited or gifted. Carol tapped the frame of my first license. He also said he admires how you give credit to your team instead of boasting about your background. I recalled our staff meeting on Friday, when I highlighted the team's dedication as the reason for our growth. Autumn's friend Kimberly had been in the waiting room then, her phone angled suspiciously toward us, which reminded me, I pulled up another email. The scholarship fund has been approved, I said. Next semester, we'll support 2 physical therapy students in financial need. Carol smiled. Your mother called that wasteful charity when she overheard? I shook my head. That's exactly why it matters. Stretching stiff muscles, I asked, any updates from the accountant? Carol sighed. Your father tried charm, then intimidation. He only left when Denise mentioned possible harassment charges. Her face softened as she handed me a folded note. Your mother stopped by during lunch. When I said you were at the Children's Hospital Clinic, she left this. My name was written across the envelope in her perfect cursive. Inside, a tear-stained page pleaded about family misunderstandings and missing her daughter. The final line requested a family meeting at their house to heal old wounds, naturally on their terms. Just then, my phone chimed. A text from Autumn. Miss you, big sis. Can we talk? Just us? Carol hesitated before speaking. Your father's letter also arrived yesterday. Very formal, suggesting family mediation with his attorney present. I laughed without humor. The tables had turned. Their friends were starting to ask questions. The community was noticing the gap between their claims and reality. Through the glass wall, I saw 2 therapists I'd hired from disadvantaged backgrounds, working skillfully and compassionately with patients, embodying the culture I had built. Here. The sunlight streamed across our expanded treatment floor, built with my vision, my effort, and my persistence, despite years of dismissal from my family. Carol's voice broke through my thoughts. "What will you tell them?" Carol asks. I place the note in my desk drawer, adding it to the collection of manipulative family messages I've carefully documented. When they're ready for a relationship that doesn't depend on exploiting my success, I'll be open to listening. Until then, my priority is protecting what I've built. In the waiting room outside my office, I notice a familiar face. One of Autumn's sorority sisters who once received unauthorized discounts. Today she sits quietly with her insurance card in hand, her expression respectful instead of entitled. The illusion is fading. 2 weeks later, the morning air carries the scent of coffee and a sense of possibility as I arrive at Cornerstone, Cafe 20 minutes early. I choose this place deliberately. Neutral ground, just enough background noise for privacy, but not isolation. I select a corner table with a clear view of both entrances and sit facing the door, a habit shaped by years of seeking their approval. I set my leather portfolio neatly in front of me, its weight steadying. Inside are texts, emails, and financial records that outline our complicated history, evidence collected not out of malice, but with the same precision I use in treatment plans. "Can I get you something while you wait?" the barista asks with a genuine smile. "Just black coffee, thank you." My voice sounds steadier than I feel. Moments later, a ceramic mug arrives, steam rising like the tension in my chest. Through the window, I see them approaching. Dad's shoulders are squared beneath his golf shirt, Mom fidgets with her pearl necklace, and Autumn walks with confidence that doesn't hide her nervous glances at our parents. Their coordinated cream and tan outfits make them look like a united front. The bell above the door chimes as they enter. Their faces shift immediately when they see me. Dad's jaw tightens, Mom's smile stiffens, Autumn's eyes flick toward the portfolio. "Sierra, honey," Mom says, leaning in for a hug. I remain seated, forcing her to awkwardly pat my shoulder. "This is cozy. We'd have preferred dinner at home," Dad says, taking the seat across from me. "Family matters should be handled privately." "This isn't just a family matter." I tap my finger on the portfolio. "This involves my business." Autumn sits beside Dad, her perfume strong enough to cover the coffee aroma. "We brought muffins from the bakery you like," she says, sliding a bag toward me. I don't touch it. A waitress takes their order and leaves quickly. As soon as she's gone, Dad leans forward, his voice heavy with authority. "Blood is thicker than water, Sierra. Family stands together, especially in business." Mom reaches for my wrist. "We've always been so proud of you, sweetie. Your father and I tell everyone about our brilliant daughter, the doctor." "Physical therapist," I correct. "Doctor of physical therapy," Autumn adds, surprisingly accurate, before pulling out her prepared pitch. "I thought about our last talk. Maybe I came on too strong. I've drafted a new plan, a consulting role, 3 days a week, stronger social media, outreach to corporate clients." I sip my coffee slowly, letting its bitterness steady me. "Before we discuss proposals, there's something you should know. At the Hendersons' anniversary party, they asked me about our family partnership. They thought you were part of my clinic." I open the portfolio, revealing carefully organized documents. "They seemed surprised when I told them you weren't?" Dad's face reddens. "We never said—" "I have screenshots of your Facebook posts mentioning our clinic and the family practice." I slide the pages across the table. "And texts from the Wilsons asking about the family business Mom mentioned at Bridge Club." Mom's face goes pale. "Sierra, those were just expressions of pride." "Were they?" I place another paper on the table. "Here's an email from Dr. Reynolds asking why Dad contacted him about partnership opportunities. The silence hangs heavy, broken only by the hiss of the espresso machine. "You've been watching us," Autumn says, her voice tinged with betrayal. "I've been paying attention," I reply calmly. "The same focus I've given to building my practice while you were telling your sorority friends they could get free treatments." Dad tries to redirect. "We're getting sidetracked. We're here to discuss Autumn's role." "Autumn will have no role in my clinic." My voice is firm. "Neither will you or Mom." Mom's hand goes to her throat. "After everything we've done for you? Everything you've done?" I pull out a spreadsheet. "Here's a list of the free treatments I've given this family over 3 years. Market value, $42,735. And here are the loans I gave Autumn during my first 2 years, when I could barely pay rent. $16,450, still unpaid." Autumn's face twists. "You said those were gifts. I said we'd figure it out later. Well, it's later." For the first time, Dad's businessman mask begins to slip. "You can't seriously expect repayment after everything I've what?" I interrupt, my voice calm but firm. "After you skipped my doctoral hooding ceremony for Autumn's sorority fundraiser? After you told Dr. Wilson that I was just pretending at business until I found a husband? After you brushed off my clinic's opening as nothing more than another job?" I press my palms flat on the table, steadying myself. These are my conditions for any relationship going forward. First, my business decisions are mine alone. No advice, no suggestions, no reaching out to my colleagues. Second, any medical treatments for family will be billed at standard rates. Third, no more calling yourselves partners or owners of my business. Mom's polished facade shatters. Tears rise in her eyes. Real this time, not the practiced ones she usually uses. "You can't mean this," she whispers. "We're family." "Family respects boundaries," I reply. "Family celebrates instead of trying to claim." Dad's expression hardens with anger. "This is ridiculous. We never thought you'd actually succeed on your own. We were only trying to secure your future." The truth spills out so easily he doesn't even realize what he's confessed. After years of work, of sacrifice, they never believed in me. Autumn's careful mask slips away. "It's not fair," she hisses. "You get everything. The respect, the title, the business. What about me? I'm stuck in a cubicle while you play hero at your clinic." There it is. The jealousy beneath the charm, the resentment beneath the manipulation. I snap my portfolio shut and stand. I built everything I have while holding this family up emotionally and financially. I'm not pretending, and I won't be invisible anymore. I leave exact change for my coffee on the table and walk away. Behind me, I hear Mom's quiet sobs, Dad's harsh words to Autumn, the scrape of chairs. But I don't look back. For the first time, I'm moving forward without waiting for their approval. With every step, the weight of their expectations falls from my shoulders. I walk into the sunlight taller than when I arrived. A year later, I stand at the window of my expanded clinic, watching golden light wash over the Denver skyline. The view mirrors the change inside me. "Dr. Bennett, your 3 o'clock is ready?" Melissa, my lead therapist, says as she approaches with a clipboard. "It's Mrs. Abernathy's final session." Perfect timing. I smile, warmth spreading through my chest. The waiting room hums with activity, so different from the cramped space where I started. Patients relax in comfortable chairs beneath framed community service awards hanging beside my original business license. Our waiting list now stretches 2 months, a testament to the reputation we've built. Mrs. Abernathy, bright-eyed despite her bent spine, beams as I enter the room. "There. She is," she announces. "The miracle worker herself." I laugh, setting down her chart. The miracle was your dedication to the home exercises. Nonsense, she waves me off. My grandson says you're the best in Denver, and that boy researches everything. As I guide her through her final stretches, I catch my reflection in the mirror. The defensive posture I once carried is gone. My shoulders are relaxed. I stand grounded, secure in my worth. Later, I meet with 3 new graduates in my mentorship program. Their eyes shine with the same drive that once fueled my late-night study sessions. The most important thing I can teach you isn't a technique, I say, perched on the edge of the table. It's knowing your value. In this field, you'll give constantly. Make sure what you give is respected. After they leave, I review the latest numbers for our pro bono program. It now makes up 15% of the practice, a figure that would have scared me last year, but today fills me with purpose. My phone buzzes. A text from Leah, my closest friend and leader of our women's support group. Ready for tonight? Your turn to share. A nervous flutter stirs in my stomach. Tonight I'll share my full journey publicly for the first time, family struggles included. The thought is terrifying and freeing. Before leaving, I check my personal email. Mom has sent photos from her community garden work, her 3rd message this week that asks nothing of me. Small but genuine steps. Dad's name is still missing from my inbox. Some wounds need more time. A separate email from Autumn announces her new corporate job, her first with no ties to my clinic. The message is free of her usual flood of exclamation marks, a quiet sign of her independence. That evening, I join Leah's monthly dinner. Unlike my parents' tense dining room, this space hums with warmth and authentic conversation. My chosen family passes dishes around the table, laughter filling the air like healing balm. To Sierra, Melissa raises her glass. Who taught us that standing your ground isn't selfish? It's necessary. Applause ripples across the table. I think of the scholarship I've created for PT students from hard backgrounds, the boundary-setting workshop I'll lead next month, and the new vestibular rehab program launching tomorrow. After dinner, I step onto Leah's porch. The mountains, stretched strong and unmoving against the horizon, like the boundaries I now hold. You look peaceful, Leah says, joining me. I am. I breathe deeply. I've learned I can heal others without sacrificing myself. Tomorrow, I'll treat an elderly man with the same care I once gave to family members who only took. The difference is, he'll look me in the eye and say thank you, and I'll know I was seen. I'm Sierra Bennett, I whisper to the mountains, and I heal those who value healing.